Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to show y'all what I'm throwing in Disc Golf Valley. So, on to the putters, what I use for throw-ins and upshots and stuff like that. I have here the Accurate Sticky Hope in the green spiderweb stamp, which is really sick. I like it a lot for all my throw-ins, anything inside 100 to 110 feet. And works well for me. I like the little lift it gives, but the drop at the end. So I have a lower type throwing style, so I like to aim a little bit lower with more power. So just throw it out there, lift up dead straight, and just go right in the basket. So really like the Hope. And then I have a harp, the Accurate Sticky Harp in the Heiser stamp. This one's really sick, really overstable. I like to use it a lot for holes like Blueberry Thicket 6, where I aim it at the tree on a forehand on the left side and let it hyzer in. I usually have a pretty decent chance for an ace. And for the layup shot on Pioneer Bay, hole number 5. It's also good for anything like utility-wise and stuff like that. You know, if I'm in a tricky situation, I just need to put it under the basket and take my medicine and go on the next hole, then works well. So. And then for longer throw-ins, I have the Accurate Windbreak Fuse in the Hops and Heiser Slamboree stamp. This one's really nice. I like it for uphill throw-ins because it tends to go straighter. So it's a bit more of a flippy mid-range, but on uphill throw-ins, it just dead straight. Even a little bit of Heiser at the end, depending on like what the distance is and stuff like that. Or any just flat throw-in from 120 up to 150 feet. On a backhand, then I'll go with the Fuse. And my new favorite mid-range right now is the Accurate Windbreak Claymore. I happened to pull this one off the multiplayer rewards from Season 3. This Claymore is really sick. I like the way it flies. I like to use it a lot, especially for Sunshine Glade 1. Just to throw it out the basket on a forehand, and it'll just go in sometimes. But it works, so anything from like 170 up to 200 feet on a forehand throw-in, I'll definitely use the Claymore. It's just really straight. Might have a little bit of a turn, but we'll hyzer at the end. And next up in speed, we have the Accurate Roll Explorer. I even use this as like a third mid-range because it's a bit faster than obviously the Claymore and the Fuse, but it's a little bit more overstable also. And yeah, but I like to use it a lot for forehand throw-ins from 200 to 220 feet and backhand throw-ins up to 240 feet. Flies really good. I've always thrown the Explorer ever since I've played the game. And as you may notice, I like the roll attribute on some of my fairways. That way, if I go long, then I can just land closer to the basket, so it saves me some distance on a throw-in. But yeah, I can trust the stability. It's got a little bit of turn, but it has a nice, dependable fade at the end. And then my favorite fairway driver on the slower speed spectrum is the Windbreak Accurate Pioneer. This is also my favorite stamp too. I love the Wolf stamp. But it's a neutral to overstable fairway driver. It's kind of like the Accurate Roll Musket, except it doesn't, like, it has the same amount of turn, but has a little bit more fade. And plus with the windbreak attribute, I can trust it in like when there's like up to a 2 or 3 wind. It's much more trustworthy. And then onto the main compartment, I do have the Accurate Roll Explorer. This is from the first season when I placed top 25. It's a good disc. It's just like that Pioneer, like I said, but this one's actually a little bit more straighter. And it's got the roll attribute, so if I miss the basket, it won't go very far. And you can even use it for rollers too. But I just throw mine just for straight shots up to 250 to 280 feet, and it works really well. Up next, we have the Accurate Glide Musket. Same flight as the Accurate Roll Musket, but just a bit longer, so up to like 300, 320 feet maybe. That's what I'll use. And then, obviously, the goated fairway driver. This is the Accurate Glide Sapphire. Same flight as a musket, but it's even longer. So I have 3 of the same flight of a fairway, but they all just go different distances. But really useful actually, because I actually like the full power on a lot of my shots. So because I struggle with powering down things, and they tend to get a little uncontrollable for me, I just trust myself throwing it, as hard as I can. But love the Glide Sapphire. It flies really good, especially on holes like Ikigai Spring 7. It's just such a cheat code, because you just throw it and then it'll Heiser like down the middle, and it's just the perfect disc. And then here we have the Accurate Big Skip Grace. A lot of people actually do bag the Big Skip version of the Sapphire, but personally for me, I like the Grace because it's ultimately a different disc, because it's straighter and it goes slightly shorter, but it's really perfect for those ace runs on Harrowing Woods. But it also holds like Ikigai Springs 2, and there's one where it's over the creek on the Beast, where I landed it short and it'll skip over. It's a really useful disc, especially if you need to keep it straight. And yeah, plus you get that big skip at the end. So if you're looking for a different type of shot other than traveling through the air. And then last but definitely not least are my big 4 distance drivers. Here we have the Glide Roll RVE. This is in the barrel stamp. This is ultimately a really good disc. I really like this disc a lot because I throw it like a normal distance shot, but when it lands, it sticks. So it's really useful, especially when you're coming in fast on a green, and you'll have a good landing. So love the Glide Roll RVE. And then also have the Glide Turn RVE, which is the same flight characteristics as a RVE, but it's got that extra turn, so it's going to turn. But I trust it to go straight, especially through the woods and stuff like that. Especially like Alwood 5. This is the perfect disc. And now the big 2 for maximum distance, I have a Glide Lights RVE. This is good for air shots, especially if I need maximum distance in the air. Really useful for tee shots like Coyote Canyon 2 when you need to get over that rock on the left side. This works perfect. And then last but not least, I actually have the Big Skip Extra Glide Zeus. This is in the Friday Night Flight stamp. Shout out to Hobson Heiser for this one. Flies super far, very similar to the RVE, but it's got a touch more turn and a touch more fade, along with less lift. So it might not get as much distance, maybe like 10, 20 feet, but it does the job perfectly for me, and I just trust it more than I do the Big Skip RVE. So yeah, that's about it for what's in my bag. Appreciate y'all watching, and yeah, we'll see you on the next one.